Hey guys, welcome to On the Beat weekly podcast. On the Beat is all about giving young people a voice. We explore all the interesting topics that affect us in the world today. So come, listen, enjoy, and be inspired.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to On the Beat. My name is Brandon. This is Brent, Mikhail, Alexia, all of us here today, and we're going to talk about two topics today, right? So, the first topic we're going to talk about is jobs, especially for the youths. So, I don't know if all you know, I just finished high school, and right now, I think in the working world, it's hard to find a job, even for the adults who seasoned and who actually had jobs before. So, what I want to know is like, what do you think that some of the opportunities or what limitations that us as young people have when it comes to finding a job in this pandemic?
Um, in this current situation now, as we speak, most jobs require experience, which I find is a big disadvantage, especially to students that just finished school. I don't understand how students would have experience when they just finished school or how they had to get it. It's like, see, that is all I can say right now. Where would they get the experience if they don't allow them to get the experience?
I remember, I guess that is why the government created on the job training, right? But the fact is, it's not easy to get through with OJT anyway. So I remember facing that dilemma, and I used to get vexed at those employers. I used to be like, "Oh, they expect me to get the experience. Oh, they didn't even want to hire me." You know, have a big stuff to handle, and the fact is, how did I get the experience? You had to get a good break, boy. You had to get a good break. Somebody had to smile on you and say, "Here, what I going and do what you call it, a good deed for a day," you know? Yeah, they're doing a good deed for you. But you had to start at a very low job. I think my first job was a store job. Yes, stand up for 12 hours, just selling. It was in a $10 store.
Alexia, what's your say?
Well, yeah, experience, but seeing that was what I was going to say. Another thing with why it's been more difficult to get jobs is because the jobs that they want, it's highly populated. So it happens people already in those jobs or wanting to do those same jobs that you want to do. So all the unique jobs, nobody is really be inclined to study for it, I guess. And so that could be our next reason why it's seemingly difficult to get certain jobs because of how much spaces it have left in the field.
But the
All right.
question, Brandon, is it depends on what type of jobs the person going for? Because a lot of young people, I remember, we like to aim for the high-end jobs one time and we not qualify for it, even though we might think we qualify for it. You understand? So is it
Well,
that?
what I was talking about was jobs on the whole, because some of my friends in my circle, they signed up for Mario's, they signed up for Macy's to do push out, they signed up for extra food, they signed up for every single job opportunity they saw. It's all a warehouse job, a warehouse that opened for Blue Mountains and the Sangre area. They signed up as well, and they said no, you can't work here, you need experience. And that is really and truly what I just keep saying over and over and over, with every single employer that I go by: experience, experience, and experience. I was lucky. I got somebody on where I gonna be employed in December. I had somebody on the inside trying to push that little thing for me, just have the little links inside. So I think that for the people who don't have those quote unquote links, or people who have done that inside the company already, it very rarely have. All I'm trying to say is it's difficult to find jobs as young people who know finish CXC or who know finish Cape or whatever.
Yeah,
All right.
I think it's down to timing. I think it's down to
Exactly.
timing. If you,
And who
Exactly.
you know.
yeah, and who you know
If you ain't know
networking.
nobody, then it'll be harder for you to get through.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's down to timing.
That yeah, that brings me to my next question with timing, because I know some people like my age or a little older, there's lots of older people. I think we need like people like us or people like Brent and Michael who have jobs to really actually give the younger side as to how we could get into jobs as well.
Well, so you want to say you want a little
Yeah,
snippet?
just give you a little rundown as to what you think we should do, Brent.
Well, seeing that we talk about timing, you have to be ahead of the game, right? So in other words, just like how you and Alexia just technically finish your first main part of schooling, of education, right? By the time you're on your second to last exam, you have to start sending out resume, sending out a CV. Even though your CV and your resume have nothing on it, you still have to send it out because they are what I would call job hunters out there, survivors out there, who a lot of young people would be going after the same thing because they know they're not qualified for higher end. They would be going for the supermarket jobs, the store jobs, whatever other jobs they could jump in. So the employers now will have a big headache to choose quickly, and that is how they fire people quickly too, because of the fact that somebody is outside waiting to get a spot. So it's all about timing, and even for like the army and the coast guard and the fire and whoever calling, it had to be into the newspapers. Yeah, newspapers. We young people don't deal with newspapers really, but you have to keep up with the news to see when these people sending out a vacancy notice, you understand, and to apply as immediate as possible. Because most of the times I used to miss it, and I used to miss it because I wasn't into news, I wasn't into reading newspapers, but then I realized, wait, that's where they're advertising this stuff, you understand? So, and people won't take care in, for example, the high-end, like the fire, even companies won't take care in unless they have vacancies. So it's not even, I used to send and drop resumes to like hundreds of companies. Just drop. People calling me for interview, and I don't even know. I can't remember dropping resume there because I dropped so many. You understand that they lost. Okay, what this job was for again? You know, that kind of way. So sometimes they go to the interview blinded because it's like, I can't remember what it was for. But yeah, the fact is, sometimes, yes, they could do the crazy way of how I did, which is go to many companies as possible, or try to be informed.
And
And
a
I
person,
think what go ahead, Michael, go ahead.
a personal take on my experience into getting jobs as well has always been a step ahead and preparing beforehand. So in the instance, if you know you apply for a job, and instead of them calling you and telling you, well, you have an interview next week, but you must have your ID card, your bank card, your NIS, all these stuff. These things is to prepare while you're in school, if you could, or as you reach the age, go and do it one time. Because, mind you, I have had friends that didn't have none of their documents and they were at a disadvantage, even though they had the required amount of subjects, the experience, and I realized a lot of things that young people in today's society like to do is because they don't get through with the job right away, they just give up. They'll be like, well, you know what, it's no job for me, I can't go and work nowhere else. No, that doesn't mean that you can't work nowhere else or your dream job isn't your dream job. It just isn't your time, because I've applied for certain workplaces and I didn't get it at the time I wanted it, but however, I got it still. So it's all about patience as well. Patience and being ahead in the game, I would say.
And
Amen.
based on Alexia point of networking is a game that is the biggest game right there. Who you know and who know you especially as a young person. Hence the reason why it shouldn't be, we young people it has some young people, I should say, tend to stop talk to people or stop being polite and not saying good morning or good evening to the neighbors and them kind of stuff. That is like a cut in your feet right there, because it don't know who is who, and those same people who are bypassing or who are giving attitude to, you understand, or who are like, who is you understand, that kind of attitude. Those same people could be your employers or could have a link where you might want to be in. So that's why it pays to have a great attitude all the time.
And the next thing I realize that we like to do nowadays is like look at paychecks. And not because, okay, it have a job for 200 and it have other job for 150. Because it job for 200 and call you, and a job for 150 call you, you don't really want to do this job. No. Especially when you're young and you're now getting a workplace, the paycheck shouldn't matter. Build your experience. You always have time to raise your paycheck. I don't want to say lower your standards, but at a point in time, in a situation where you do have experience, it really makes sense that you really study paycheck, study to build your experience, and then after, go for that bigger paycheck.
My last point. I see what you talk about there, or paycheck. I used to watch that, and I remember my second job or third job. I ended up working in a gas station, and I was embarrassed. I, as a youth, was embarrassed because I working in a gas station in the heart of the town. All them young people passing and seeing me who know me and thing. I used to sometimes hide because remember the kind of things they had to do by the gas station. It had to sweep the floor or sweep the yard or wash down the yard. You know that going on, look? You know, and they have on the uniform and them kind of stuff. I was so embarrassed as being a gas station worker, but it took me a while to get over that embarrassment, and it took me a while to work hard to do better, to get better. But I had to start from there. I had to start low. And some young people tend not to get through with jobs because they are embarrassed to do a job.
It's okay to walk through the storm, you know.
Let's very much on the last question. So we know that we're in a pandemic, and we can't just go left, right, and center. We can't go here, there, and everywhere, and just drop off your resumes like what Brent had done when he was looking for a job. And now that we have to go online in order to register for those openings. Companies putting out their ads for workers. So I think that what most people want to know too is or most young people like myself, how we will get in contact with those companies and see like what they offering and what is the times and all that kind of stuff before. Because from what I see so far, they providing a number that they could call and get information from, but no dice. It's either going out of contact or going out of service. And you know, no, most people had to call and make appointments and say, yeah, come in this time and that time and the other. So what do you think that we should do as young people in order to get more information about our job?
Protests.
So say what I'm protest. I don't think you can report, especially if it's a private limited company. I think you could report it.
No, I can't report it. I mean, come on, man. It's a really tough situation. the society or the industries, I should say, they get a hard hit. So a lot of companies downsizing, or a lot of companies have closed down. Even in the government sector, they stopped in taking new people. And so it is a tough situation where you are at. So I would say, in the meantime, look for a low-end job and up your game in education and skill, especially skill. Because while you're up in your resume, that is like increasing your resume, especially in skill. And when those same companies look to rehire and open up the doors, then things would be really good, because you yourself would be in a good place, because it didn't stand still as an individual. What companies like to watch is, when last did you get a certificate? When last did you get passes for whatever degree you're doing or whatever? How relevant are you? You understand? So keep yourself relevant, keep yourself updated, and keep trying.
Make yourself marketable.
Yeah.
I agree. And Brent said you could like do a lower end job while you're waiting. Another thing you could do is, I don't know, just companies that you're interested in working at, research them, follow them on all the social media. Because you know, on social media, they have the most updated versions of what they're looking for, I guess. And when you follow them, you might see job availabilities more than you will see if you just search online. So, I don't know. That could be our next thing.
Thank you for listening to On The Beat podcast. Feel free to share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay blessed, everyone.